Understood.
BDSIR Network, the best damn show in World One Radio. I have a different kind of flow this week. You know what I mean? Switching it up. My name's Grant Body P. Acknowledge me. Say it to me. Real sponsored by Got the Juice. See the juice here? We've got the juice now. That's what's up, man. Special guest in the building. Like I said, we're switching it up. Now we're going to go to spoken word. We're going to go to poetry. You know what I mean? That's how we're doing it. You see what I'm saying? London, I acknowledge you. Not long come back from you. And it's like, yo, I'll be back sooner than you think. You know what I mean? So acknowledge London. Acknowledge spoken word. Acknowledge the Chakra project. Let's fix out right now. So we're going to talk about it. The man called Chris ALLICK. Salute. Welcome to RePPiN4U Hip Hop Show. How you feeling, brother?
Feeling well, feeling good. Feeling well, feeling good, man. Been looking forward to, talking about the project that's going to be coming up real soon. Been working on it for, well, a very long time, like 8 years in the making. But I've been working on it for, I've been working on this album is going to be, for me, this body of work is, I've done my studying, I've did my, broken down all like the elements of like, what chakras are, what they mean, the vibration, the frequency. I've traveled. I've did my work, and I think as an artist, you should do your work on, when you got a body of work, you need to do your art, your work on not just your lyrics or your phonetics or just the way that your rhyme pattern or anything else. It's more to do with the studying and the understanding of what you're bringing out, the vibration of it. So that's where I'm going with this album is the frequencies as well of like the chakras that I'm actually putting down, because it's all frequencies like synesthesia it starts with, and then it goes down to all the colors of the chakras, which make us act differently. We act differently to the vibrations and the colors, and the vibrations to, well, green is like the heart chakra, red is like, the passion chakra and everything else. So I've embodied stories in telling all of those kind of elements within that song.
Man, it's very, I love that, I love the concept of it. Admittedly, spoken word is not something I'm personally into, but it's definitely something where you can really expand your mind and zone out and listen to all the content and take it in. You know what I mean? It's not something you can just put it on in the background, I don't think. Nah, it's something you've really got to absorb, So, and I really appreciate what you did here. But it's it's actually your second project now.
You've done your research.
Right. Yeah, because the thing was, I was aware of your first project that I've checked out as well. And that's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I was like 10 years ago. So let me ask you this, Chris. With that one, what's the significance of the number 64?
Oh, there you go. 64 for me is just a number that I've always seen. You probably have a number that you have that, significant to...
Well, for those who know me well, they know what that number is. It's, it's not hard to figure out at all.
But with me, it's always been a number that's followed me from, I wouldn't say from birth, but from when I knew about numbers, vibration, energy, and everything. It followed me in all sequences. It seemed to be something that, was trying to show me something. And I kind of wouldn't say I studied it, but, I always brought it into my work and, looked at it. I looked at the significance of numbers, numerology, and everything else, what it meant. It has meaning to me, but obviously it has meaning to like your numbers have meaning to you and everything else. I'm sure everyone has their like people have 7 and 14 and like a football number or something like that. That
Yeah,
means
yeah.
something to a player or something that makes him play better or anything. But it means a lot to me.
Well,
And
I'll assure you, my number is not 7. Well, it should be because that's the God number. But
yeah, that's what I say. The good
yeah,
number, yeah.
yeah, it should be because of the God number in that regard. It's not 14. Actually, in a way, 14 can be one of my numbers, but it's not my number. If you know what I mean. But again, like I says, those who know me well, I shouldn't have to
No,
tell you what my number
number.
is. You know what I mean?
I
If you
hear
know
that.
me well and you don't know what my actual number is, fire for that. That's all I gotta say. Y'all have a slack. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, but all your work and all your significance is really, it is really deep. Um, and it's probably got many, many meanings. On that one, was there like actually 64 poems?
There was actually 64. When I'd done my project 10 years ago, the book had 64 different poems in it. Like, because obviously 64 was my significant number. So, I had more than 64 poems, but I picked 64 of my favorite poems from myself. I've
Oh,
got
wait a minute.
thousands of poems.
So let
Sorry?
me ask you this, Chris Alec, how many poems have you actually written? You got
There isn't. It's a Googleplex. I don't think there's a number that I could like I couldn't estimate it. I've got like probably nah. I couldn't tell you that. It's something I don't
oh,
know. I write poems like probably about 6 7 poems a day since I was like probably like 15 16 going onwards. Just writing,
raw.
just writing, just writing, just writing. I've got books upon books upon books, and then when the books run out. Then obviously it turns into text message notes, and yeah, it just write and write and write. It's
Holy
always
smokes.
there's always time to write, and then I what I'm trying to do now is make those writings. I'm trying to unpuzzle them and put those um like like the chakras project because it's always been written, but it was
Yeah.
like being able to put everything on the table and go, okay, that's about chakras. Okay, that's about star signs. That's about seasons. That's
Mm-hmm.
about like growing up. That's about, like energy field, like there's all different elements of things. So
Yeah.
I've like what I've done now, I started to, put everything apart and then try to make projects from what I have, tighten them up, look at the lyrics again, make sure that I get it right, and give it a concept, give it art, and spend time on it. Because now I can spend time on the art because I've got the lyrics, I've got the vocation, I've got everything around me. All I need to
Yeah.
do is focus on the art, now. And this is what I like, is being able to focus on just tuning it up and making a project and then making people learn about either something like zodiac signs, seasons,
Yeah.
chakras, um, yeah, gems, gemology, um, yeah, anything that I study, I like for people to have like a different thought pattern on it because we seem to just touch the surface.
This is really, I've got to say, this is fascinating because, you talk about astrology, right?
Hmm.
For the most part, generally, I feel like it's the females who absorb that more, who take in astrology more than the guys do. You know what I
Yeah, well,
mean?
I'll tell you, I grew up, well, my mum, you know, she does readings, she does tarot, she does zodiac sign, she does Reiki, reflexology, healing, all of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, so for me, I grew up in that environment. I wasn't like sitting there absorbing everything, but I was playing football and listening to rap albums and everything else like any other kid. But at the same time, I had that in my ear, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
like to read. I like to read. I like to write. I like to understand things. I've always really liked to understand things. So um, like in your mum's house, you're gonna have like a kind of a banner and it's got the star signs on it. It's got Leo, it's got Virgo, Pisces, this and that, and it tells you a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
about them, all of that kind of stuff. And then,
yeah.
books that she had, like Linda Goodman books, and it would tell you all about a star sign and stuff like that. And
Mm,
and also, the music, she would listen to a lot of like play a lot of classical music, Zen music, Kuan Yin, different, vibrations of harmony for when
wow.
her clients came. So that was always going on in my house. But then obviously then I'll go to my cousins, like I said, Super Saiyan Man, like I was telling you about earlier. Then I'll
Oh
go
yeah,
to his
oh
house.
yeah.
Yeah.
For them.
I go to Supers, my cousin, and then his mom's playing Dennis Brown and Bob Marley and like Studio One stuff. And then, and then obviously then I go upstairs in his room and he's just got albums upon albums of hip hop. He's a hip hop historian from day. So he would even
Why?
have like the East Coast, West Coast, flipping, Bronx, all of the South Side, all of that, all like set up on CDs when you know what I mean, when he was like 14. Like so when we it was me and my cousin, we didn't really know about hip hop like that, but he's older. So he's playing all of this hip hop around us. I'm listening
Yeah.
to like OC, but then I'm listening to Twister and the Mob C beats. I'm listening to
Okay.
flipping. Yeah, I know about like my hip hop
Listen.
because of that. Like I know proper hip hop, but then I know proper like classical music like Vardy and Beethoven, Tchaikovsky, all of that from listening to the stuff at home. But then I know about reggae and everything from going downstairs with my aunts. And then there's my music that I like individually, you know? So it's like
Yeah,
a kind of circle of everything. And I think that's what just, made me write the way that I do. Like, because I don't have to sway on being a MC. Then I don't
mhm,
have to sway on being like a kind of like you know, a piano player or something or anything. I just have to sway on being myself. And that's what
right.
I always believe that hip hop was like what KRS-One says is it's being you in it. KRS-One is one of my favorite rappers because of his individuality of being himself and being a
Yeah,
teacher and telling everybody that, being yourself is the best version of yourself, not trying to
yeah.
be any other version of anything else or trying to pretend, you know? So
Let, let me ask you this. KRS
mhm.
One. Have you seen that man live?
I have not. It's always
Oh,
been something that I have not seen him live. I have not.
oh my God.
Yeah, I have not seen him
Rich.
live, and he's been over. He's been over. I've seen Ray. Ray's one of my favorite artists. I've seen Ray Kwan. I've seen Nas. I've seen who else have I seen in the hip
Big,
hop scene?
big ups to Ray and the whole Wu Tang. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At time of recording this interview, I'm still in recovery mode, believe it or not. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It was only a couple of days ago, right? It was only a couple of days ago. I was there front
Mm,
row.
right.
Man, man. And for those who wasn't there, who missed the final chamber, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
on you. Because
Yes.
sorry to if you're trying to fault Chris, but for me, it's like, yo, when they announced the final chamber, I didn't have the money to go. But guess what? People
Mm,
knew what the Wu Tang meant to me, and they jumped in and helped me out. And there I was, front row, brother, front row.
jeez.
You know what I mean? You know how big the
That's
O2
true.
arena is, right?
That's dreams. That's dreams come true.
I'm
That.
telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. But anyway,
Yeah. But
like, we've
that's
only
like
got 2 hours,
like
so I'll talk about that all day.
mm,
You
understood.
know, so Raekwon, Nas, you've seen other guys live, but not KRS One.
Yeah. But I will do. Slick Rick, I want to see live too. Slick Rick was one of my favorite rappers. Raekwon's one of my favorite rappers. Um, you
Mm,
know, like
I'm I'm getting a
I
pattern
wouldn't.
here. I'm getting a pattern.
Yeah, I like that kind of version of rap. But then, like I said, because of my cousin's like flipping selection that he had, the big selection that he had. I grew up like even like DJ Quick, Daz. Then there was like, like I said already, like OC. Then there was like
Mhm.
then Cannabis, and then you had so there was lyricists that I'm hearing about, um, and they're about the art. And then there's ones that's like Redman about like, he can mix it and he can do with the
Yeah.
skill, then make you laugh. And then I
Oh
love the
yeah.
skit. I used to just like listening to flipping Muddy Waters and stuff just for the skits, just to, like I got a soda and all that. Like I used to just listen to stuff like that. Like I don't know what happened with new rap albums and the way people do stuff now, but like skits were like something that I used to like love listening to. Like the whole
Oh yeah.
the
Oh
intro, the
yeah.
outro, the funny like little skits when things is happening, and I'm not saying hip hop's died in a sense of on that scale, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of like the formula of art that's not there anymore.
There's, there's very few that still upholding
Yeah,
that.
yeah, still practice the
Yeah.
formula, and like I said, with my cousin's art, he's a true artist, and he just practices the true art when he rhymes, when he does his stuff,
Mhm.
and you got to respect that.
100, 1,000, man. That's what, yeah, that's what I love. We come from that era, as you say,
Mm,
where people like Redman, people like Raekwon, people like Nas, they're building a story, they're giving you,
there you
a
go.
narrative and all of that throughout their album. So you're going through a journey, not like
Hmm.
most albums come out today now, and it's just like a decent body of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no skits, there's no. It's just some of them just last what 25 minutes. There's your album,
yeah,
and it's like, where's the rest of it?
but
That's
I
just
think
me though.
yeah, and that could be like I'm not saying that's me too, and I'm not trying to just go because you're saying that, but I did like the other day, Clips's new album. Obviously, was a good body of work. It was a very amazing body of work.
Oh yeah.
And it's an amazing body of work. I like Rock Marciano's work. Like Rock Marciano
Mm.
is one of my favorite like lyricists because it's like it's not the fact of what he's talking about. It's the way that his vocab and the way that he puts words together, the way that he drops everything. He's like you can see he studies like what he's doing. Like his art to him, it's like proper art, and I can see that he's like top tier. Like that's top tier MC.
You know what, Chris? I'm glad you mentioned Rock Marciano because he was
Mm.
only last week on RePPiN4U Hip Hop Show
Oh
where
wow. Okay.
my
I saw him
you
live as well.
the show last yeah, so on the show last week I had a guest on Al Kareem. Is it or was it the week before that actually? Now I think about it. It might be the week before, sorry. Right.
Hmm.
King Shamps, I believe. Yeah, King Shamps. I'll big up to King Shamps. Right. He was on the show and we spoke about Rock Marciano and
Mm.
he was like, yeah, he was like, yeah, yeah, true. So we know him from Flip Mode. Well, at least I know him from Flip Mode Squad when he
Yeah, I
was
remember him from Flip Mode too. Of course, yeah.
and then he evolved his style, and then he was one of the
Hmm.
first, not the first, to come with that quote drumless hip hop unquote, and
Mm.
he made it work, but it don't work for everybody. You know what I mean? So, for you now, because even for you, because you're a spoken word artist,
Yeah, he's
um,
very similar. I think he's very similar. I understand him completely because he does all of that. He raps off beat, then he comes back and then he punches the beat, then he raps over like stuff that I would say that more suited to spoken word. Like he would be rapping over like, like a classical beat without no drums and then he would have like something just the violin playing and he's just killing it.
yeah,
He can
yeah,
just he can kill. I think he can kill hip hop beats, then he can kill like a flipping a classical track, and then like just harmony, and like he's like I said, he's studied and he's realized what he can do. You know, he's realized what he can do, and
Yeah.
I would say a lot of people just feel safe in one genre. Because I used to rap. I used to be in a group called South Soldiers. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it was a group in Deptford where it's like peeps, and we had a big group. We used to do like like clashes and go to Burgess and do live shows and everything. Made a couple of albums, everything.
Right. So did
Um,
that come before? Did that come before spoken word, or did spoken word come first?
well, I was always doing spoken word because I was always writing. I was always doing my diary work. I was always writing novels, stories, writing, just writing. And
Yeah.
like I said, for me, it was like when my cousin was rapping and I was growing up in that environment and area, I was like, well, I know I can put words together, I can rhyme. And I have to admit, I was a really good rapper. I'm good at rapping. I can rap, but it just didn't seem true to what I wanted to do. I could do it, but when I started doing spoken word and started doing the album that you're gonna see that's gonna come out, that's me. That's what
Right. So
what I like to
Chocolate
do.
album is not
Uh-huh.
out yet.
It isn't out. It'll be out 23rd of April this
Oh,
month.
so we haven't got
No,
long.
next month. Hmm.
We haven't got long to wait. So I
No.
appreciate you for sending me like an advanced copy of
Yeah, you've got it.
Chocolate.
You know what I mean? You've definitely there's a couple of people that I've sent it to just to review it, just to look at it and look at the artwork and but it's gonna be pressed on vinyl and it's gonna be on all
Oh
networks
wow.
on 23rd of April. And yeah, it'll be
Oh,
there.
that's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. I remember the is it the second track on that? I can't even pronounce that right now. I haven't got the list in front of me. You
Synesthesia?
did mention it earlier.
Is that synesthesia?
That's it. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That one was an early favorite of mine.
All right. Okay.
That one was an early favorite. And I will say there's another one, people, that I really liked.
Was it
And
blue?
that one's called Red.
Oh, red, yeah. That was my
Yeah.
favorite. The other, like every week it changes. Like, because I listen to the album every week and it changes for me from red's been my favorite recently, but then I like
Mm,
blue. Blue's one of my favorites, which is Chef Shellon. And Atlantis is just a classic for me because
right.
it's the first thing I ever wrote. I wrote Atlantis when I was 8 years old.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I wrote
Wow.
Atlantis
What
when I
man
was
just
eight.
make it this far? That is
Yeah.
a journey and a half, man.
Yeah, it's something I don't want to like, but it is. It's something that I wrote because it's a dream I had. It's a dream. If you listen to Atlantis, it's a dream. It's a monologue of a dream. It's like an ongoing, like it has no beginning, it has no end. It's just
Yeah.
a ongoing story that it just patterns and
Is
flows
it
over.
something that you, is it something that you like regularly dream, like literally you go to bed and you dream it and you dream it every so often?
At that time, I used to have very visual dreams, and I do have very visual monologues of things happening. This is why I write a lot because I have a very vivid imagination. And before, I didn't know how to, piece it, like put it together or put it out. But now I'm
Right.
like, it's my art. Like if I'm out, I know how to, let's say, for instance, I see the sun and then I've got a feeling about the sun, and then the
Mhm.
clouds go over it. Then in my mind, it's not just the sun; it's like a carnelian sun with hematite clouds with a Roshite kind of, because now I know gems and stuff. So now I'm connecting these things and I'm covering it with other art. I'm like pushing art on top of art on top of art. So you have to study to listen and understand what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Um, and that's something that I don't know, like growing up listening to like Ghostface Raekwon when they used to say like, like yellow wallaby, blah blah, and like, like they used to just say words. And I'll be
Don't
like,
stop this.
yeah, but it was their style. It was their style.
Yeah.
It means something to them. And yeah, and the same thing I feel like Rock Marciano does it as well. He does a thing where he covers his art with, you know, coded words and coded phrases, but they're studied, you know? And
Mm.
yeah, and I'm listening and I'm just listening to all of these things, these practices and phrases, like, like I said, from back in the day, especially like cannabis and everything else. But cannabis's formula was more in open. It was just like, and Tupac as well. Tupac's one of my favorite artists. And he would just tell you what he's saying instead of covering it, even though he was very intelligent. And
Yeah.
the book that he wrote, A Rose in the Concrete, would tell you that. It's one of the first, well, yeah, I read that and it made me know that he's a lot deeper than he was showing on, like, Flip It, like All Eyes on Me, or Are You Still Down, or Machiavelli and everything else. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's touching the surface. It's like Malcolm X when he was talking. He used to just touch the surface of words so everyone can understand it. He didn't want
Imagine that.
everyone, yeah, because he couldn't talk in. That's a guy that was in prison and learned the Bible back to front, learned the dictionary back to front, and had all the knowledge that he had, but still was talking in our terms so everyone could understand because he wanted everybody to feel connected,
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
though he
Yeah.
knew he could fly off, he could be gone and talk about what he wants to talk about, but he chose to, keep everybody understanding. Um, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And that's why many of us regard him as one of the greatest ever
Mm.
and ever.
For me, as an artist, though, Nina Simone is the greatest, the greatest entertain, not even just entertainer, but the greatest for all of that altogether because she embodied everything. I don't think there's nothing that Nina Simone didn't do.
Wow. Nina
If you
Simone.
think about it, I don't think there's anything that she didn't do.
Yeah.
As an artist, she was classically trained. She could play flipping any classical music. She could play it. She was, the first R&B artist, soul artist. She could sing. She was
Hmm.
an activist. She was there for
Hmm.
Martin and Malcolm. And, you know, um, what else did she do? She always put her experiences in her work, and she always spoke up for oppression. And I don't know, apart from KRS-One, I don't know artists that could hold to that higher value of like
Yeah.
yeah.
So, when you talk about Nina Simone and the way she puts her work together, I
Hmm.
can see now how you put your work together. Like your two projects that I've heard, the latest one, Chakra, and the one you did 10 years ago, right?
Right.
I can see I can see the influence all in the system now. Now that you explained it, I can really see. You know what I mean? Which brings me to ask you this, man. You look like looking at your social media and all of that. You look like you've been to many places, and those places in the world have really inspired you to write in the way that you do. You know what I
Well,
mean? So
I lived in Spain for like 4 years, and then I
okay,
traveled. I lived in Spain for 4 years. I traveled Morocco for a whole month. I just went to Morocco and started Marrakesh, and I went through Marrakesh, through to the desert, through
yeah.
to the Blue City, and then back through to Chef Shell. I mean, to Casablanca, and then I took a boat. Then I went to Spain, and then I flew a couple of other places. And then yeah, I did the same when I went to Egypt as well.
Oh
I
wow.
like to, yeah, I do solo trips like that. Um, I think it's good to just understand yourself and
Yeah.
understand the world. And it's something that I would say, from when I was young. My mum and my stepdad, you know, I was privileged to come out of the area, and they would take me to Gambia, to, like, Tunisia, to Turkey, to
Mm,
Portugal, to Greece, and all of these places that we
hey,
went to
right.
when I was young. Yeah, and like it opened because obviously I was, kid living in Deptford, and I'm just seeing, like, the cage where we play football, and like flipping derelict shops, Deptford Market. Like you're just seeing what you're seeing, and a certain mentality, not of everybody, but
Mm.
there's a kind of peace in that you're seeing. And then when you travel the world, you're seeing people just, kids with nothing, you know, playing
Yeah.
with playing with a flipping orange like in the beach. And they're happy, happier than kids that I see here. And I'm there playing with my Mega
Oh,
Drive.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah. And
You
I
know,
can think, it made me appreciate life a lot. Traveling makes me right, makes me feel glorious. Especially like when I travel, I love to visit churches as well. I'm a big
yeah.
fan of fractal geometry. Not for that, I'm not like a super religious person, but I
Hmm.
love I love fractal geometry and grids and art architecture.
Yeah. I hear that.
Mm,
I haven't traveled that much. Nowhere, not even
mhm,
close compared to you. You know what I mean? You drew out a scroll of the places you've been to. You know what I mean? What I can tell you, Chris, is I know where you're coming from when you talk about churches. I saw one in Italy. I believe it was Italy. You know what I
mhm.
mean? Florence, Italy, and the way their
Okay.
church built up and everything. I'm like,
Mhm.
wow. See, the churches over here in the UK, you know what I mean? There's always a dodgy roof that needs fixing. Energy.
Yeah, but they got them intact. Yeah, they got them intact.
Yeah.
Mm.
But it's like, it's just such an eye to behold that it's like, you wouldn't even dare even attempt to blaspheme in them places. You know what I mean? It's so beautifully built up. It's true. So I'm like, wow. Um, you know, I would ask you, um, of all those places that you visited in your lifetime,
Granada,
where
Granada, Granada in
Grenada is the
Spain.
most exhilarating, the
Sorry,
most. So you're
that's
saying
it.
Grenada is
Has to be Granada is where I wrote Synesthesia. Granada is where I got most of my because it's like a part of our culture, and I know that. And I always used to think, why am I so drawn to this place? Why am I so, energetically, spiritually, um, manifested it? All of those kind of things. When I go there, I just feel like I belong.
yeah,
It's like, like somewhere you go and you just feel like I belong here. And the history of it.
yes,
Mm,
yes. I belong. I mean, that's how I feel about London. To be honest with you, I'm from Wolverhampton.
okay,
Every
but you
time I
don't
come
live
out to
it.
London, literally every time I come out to London, you know what I
Mm,
mean, and I just think to myself, I belong here. Where do
mm.
you go? Salute Big O. You know what I mean? Big that man up.
Yeah,
He was
man. He's the one that got me in contact with yourself. I was gonna obviously like mention him at the end and everything else. Like,
no man. Mention him
if it
now.
wasn't for Big O, yeah, gotta mention Big O because the thing is he's every time that I speak to him, obviously I follow his you know he's what's up reels. I have to say it's crazy. You look at his what's up reels, he makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But like the art that he does, like like the span of like what I told him I do spoken word. I've showed him my album as well. Showed him my
Mhm.
work and him being such a hip hop head, and he's told me like like I really like your music, bro. I really like this and that. And then he got me in contact with you. He got me in contact with a couple of like slam poetry people and connected me with so much people that I never knew existed. Like I didn't know that those networks were out there. And I decided, such a good person to, I wouldn't even say just have as a contact, but he's just a good person. I'm just, just a good person in the respect of if he sees something that can connect something to another thing that you're interested in and you want to do the work, which I do, which you do, and
Mhm.
just giving the vibration for people to connect and keep the artwork alive and keep the love alive of you know, hip hop or spoken word or cultural art, whatever you want to call it. Um, I think it's a network that we really need to keep circling. and he's doing the work. He's doing the
Yeah,
work, man.
man.
Big him up.
And I've known Big O for like a few years now, since around
Hmm.
2020. Well, officially, I unofficially met him in 2019, right? And
Hmm.
then it wasn't until like after the pandemic, 2022, I got to know him properly. You know what I mean? So he was that dude. I met him in 2019, but didn't realize who he was or anything.
Mm.
One of those guys I just saw at a show, but we
Mm.
never connected until like a couple of years later, a few years later. And yeah, brought us to this point. So big that man up, man. But true,
100%. Yeah, in the essence of like an artist, a person, everything, like that's people. That's
yeah,
good people. That's what
he's
I would
that
say.
dude that's literally made me believe I belong here every time I come out to
It's
London,
great.
every single time. So
Mm.
that's what's up right there. Brought me to this point. So now people, the Chackwell project is coming soon. There's a couple of questions I do want to ask you about, right?
Sure.
Because before we close this out, the first one
Hmm.
is the animated or the cartoon, the animated, the female that's
Oak's blood lipstick kisses, eyes with shadow like a cascading sun. Jasmine dinner, a walk by the river, as she shivers, and I put a coat on her. The kiss, gust of Kemet, as the moon makes glimmers on the river, and it shimmers. There's a beautiful view, but I'd rather watch you.
that's in your
This
it
one.
seems to be the same one.
This one right here.
Yeah, it always seems to be the same one.
Who
Right. Okay.
is
So who
that?
is that person? Who is that person? Is that someone special in your life? Who, who, who is it exactly?
Well, the true story of it is that like I said, I've got a vivid
Yeah.
imagination, vivid,
Right.
that I've had since I told you from when I was 8 when I wrote Atlantis and from when I did everything else. And, you know, she came like I had this story and it came to me like parts of the story. It's like I was seeing it like a movie. I've told people
Yeah.
many of times, like, and I wrote this story, and I could see everyone's face. I could see the characters and this woman in
Right. Yeah.
yeah. And I just like I had a friend, and she was an artist. Yeah, I had a friend, and she's an artist, and I was like, look, you need to draw this woman for me. Like, you need to like, and I descriptively like said that she's got this and she's got a beauty spot on her cheek and she's got curls and a ring and
Bro.
and I just made sure that she got it right. I was like, you need to get this right because I need to manifest. You have to, I want it with me. So yeah, um,
So
so
let
it
me
was.
ask you this. Have you have you met anyone who has resembled that likeness?
Well, my missus now, I would say she looks like her, yeah, and
Okay.
yeah, and it's a case of letting it letting it manifest, letting it manifest. But it's what I've manifested. You know, it's what I'm manifesting. It's what
Right.
I believe that you know, in any way, you know, it's gonna be true. And
But
in the story, it's like like I know that whether or not this is the manifestation, I know that I'm gonna meet her like one day. Like if it's not my girl that I'm seeing now, then it's gonna be a manifestation. It's gonna happen.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're with somebody now. You've a partner now.
Yeah.
So you're not a husband at this time.
I'm not now.
I would have thought so because of your vivid imagination, your poetry, you know what I mean, your poetry and the way you articulate yourself. You know what I mean? The females are drawn to that, right? Which brings me to my next question, right?
Okay.
Now, outside of poetry, this will be the one to close it out, right? So outside of the poetry, you are a chef.
I
Yes,
am. Mm-hmm.
you are. All right.
Oh, so you've been doing your research, man. Definitely now.
That's what I do.
Oh, you're that guy. You're that guy. I was like, okay.
Now, let me ask. So, I believe you're like a private chef.
I am. I am. I've
Wow.
been
So,
chefing.
okay.
I've
So
been
people book,
chefing.
right? So
Sorry.
people book you, and what happens? Do they come to your house? Do you go to their house? How does that work?
Well, what I do and what I specialize in is romantic dinners, like it's the visual thing again, because like I said, I'm just a creative person. So what I'll do, let's say for instance, if you got a missus, either you or her
Mm-hmm.
would call me
Yeah.
and you would just say, because like I said, I've traveled a lot, so I've
Yeah.
worked with all different. I've lived, like I said, I lived in Spain for like 3 or 4 years, and I've been to Italy. I've studied in
Mm.
Italian kitchens. I've studied all different types of food, and so I can cook all different foods basically. So it's a case of what you want, I'll give to you. You just need to tell me, like, like say for instance, you and your missus met, and when you met, you had this, you know, Italian scravicelli or this different type of pasta or this, some jerk sauce that, that you didn't think that you can get replicated or, an Asian dish, whatever, or a cake. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
make that. I'm gonna put that into the dishes. I'm gonna do like a 5 course or I'm gonna do a 7 course, and I'm gonna make
Seven,
all of that. Yeah,
10.
whatever course you want, I'm gonna make that happen, and I'm gonna like partly like press that out like from starters, canapes, all the way through candlelight. You know, flowers on the steps, like however you lot want that scenery to be. I'm gonna make that so when she comes in or when he comes in, it's like, it's this pattern for them. And
Oh, folks,
yeah, that's what I
I've
do.
seen
It's what I love doing.
I've seen what you do, and the passion is
Mm,
there. The food,
100%. I'm very, very passionate about everything I do.
the food, I mean, good gosh, the food, just by looking at it, you know what I mean? It's like, to put it, to say the least, it looks magically delicious. I'm like, good gosh, man, kills it. Let me ask you this. Now, I don't know if this has happened to you or whatever, right? So, couple comes in and you cook for them and all that, right? And the food is top notch, right? Top notch. Like even Gordon Ramsay has to bow down to you.
Wow, wow, wow. The sort of sour, sweety heat that you've got in that capellini, nailed.
Thank you.
Good job. Really good job.
You know what I mean? Gordon has to. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm saying it right here on Wild On Radio, people. Gordon Ramsay has to bow down to this man. The food I've seen this man cook. Look, wow. Let me ask you this, Chris, right before we sign up. Has the female been so impressed with the food, right? Keep in mind she's a customer. You know where I'm going with this. Has the female been so impressed that sometimes she looks at you and thinks, why didn't I pick you? And then looks at her boyfriend like, what am I with you for?
That's
A man
mad.
that can cook.
That's mad. Yeah, but I would
That's it.
say, in like obviously not in closing because it's your show, but I would say in closing on that subject that it's been weird, yeah, because I would say me being a poet, being a chef, being a
Yeah.
man that, yeah, but being a poet, being a chef, being a man that travels, um, uh, obviously like I like to train as well, train calisthenics, everything. I like to keep healthy, all of those kind of things. Like I feel like, like I just
women
pattern
want.
myself to be, yeah, but I have to admit, it's still not really, as long as maybe I'm blind to it, but I've not really got the kind of, you know, like that kind of, like a woman going, oh, you know what, like you're just that guy or all of the. No, like it
You
doesn't
know,
happen.
okay, so not even like you don't even sense like their body language of them think and then
No,
think
maybe I'm dumb to it. Maybe I'm dumb. This is
right.
what I'm trying to say. Maybe I'm a
Maybe,
bit silly to it, but at the same
maybe,
time, it's
maybe
not
you are
really.
because you got a partner already and this is your passion. This
Mm,
is what you do. You're not looking at the females like that. You know what I
no,
mean?
no. I
But
was
I bet
telling her
the
that I
females
don't.
could be looking at you like that. You see what I'm
No,
saying?
but like this is
And then man's
before.
like, yeah,
But before, like I said, me and my missus are quite recent.
right.
That's like more or less like yeah, quite recent. But before that, like I said, when I was single, I've been single before that for like 3.5 years, 4 years. I was single before that,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I didn't really get that kind of gravitational field of like if I approached like like a woman that I would be like, yeah, like I want to make this happen, and then they would be like, there's always something missing for them, like like well, you write poetry, and you're a chef, and you like to travel and that. There's always some excuse in it, like maybe you won't have time for me, or maybe this, or like they always find it. Yeah, they just find something in it. It's too good to be true, kind of a thing. Is like, nah, I don't know. Just that,
No,
nah. And I've
I'm
got that.
sorry.
That's what I get more than anything else. Like, yeah, but
You ain't
you're
got
always
time.
going to be working on.
This is a ladies, you've blown it now. This is a guy. No, I'm speaking the truth because I can. Right? This is a guy, people, females particularly, that's checking in right now on Wild One Radio, Rocks, right? That the man travels, the man can cook, and a man does poetry. And thankfully for him, the one female seen all that and thought, yes. You know?
I do have to say, with it's hard for me now with my girl now, because she does all of those things that I never really have had. Like she want to cook for me. Like I'll come back from work, and she wants to cook for me. She wants to, like like she'll run a bath, she'll run the shower. What I mean? She's got food waiting. I wake up, she want to make my breakfast, all of that. But like the women I was meeting before, they didn't want to do none of that. They didn't. They didn't. Like before, they were just like, I'll come and they'll be like, yeah. So what are we doing? And they know that I've been working 15, 16 hours,
Yeah.
because being a chef is not easy. Like I've been working 15, 16 hours, come back, and they're waiting for me to come back and cook, waiting for me to wake up and make breakfast. They're
Well,
waiting for me to take them everywhere. And what I do like, with my missus now is that, she showed me something else that I've never seen from someone. So I appreciate that. Appreciate, and it's yes, it's a turn. It's a turn. It's something I have to get used to.
yeah.
Something I'm not used to,
Yeah.
you know.
Well,
Uh,
to your lady, I'll say this, man. You know what I mean? Take a bow. Wherever that lady is in the world right now, obviously Chris knows who she is, but and she will know who she is now if she listens to this. You take a bow, girl. Take a bow. You know what I mean? You're doing it, man. You're representing. You're playing that flag. Chris ALLICK on RePPiN4U Hip Hop Show, man. One of the times we're gonna have to run this back, because there were so many questions I wanted to ask you, and we never got
mm.
around to it. But that's fine. You know what I mean? That's absolutely fine. That's what's up, man. But
When
man,
definitely when the album comes out, when the vinyl comes out, like I hope that you're in London at the time, or I'm gonna post it to you. Obviously, I'll like to
yeah.
do like a live show when the album
Oh
comes out,
yeah,
and
yeah, man. Yeah, man, for sure. Because y'all know London, I belong there. You know what I mean? I'm there,
that's your town.
and yeah, and I will.
Whereabouts in particular? Where do you like in London?
It's the hip hop scene because what
No,
it
but
is.
whereabouts? Like, do you like like which area is your like Brixton? Do you like Camden? Do you like Greenwich? Do you like, or it's just London?
It's funny, yeah. It's London in general. It's funny you mentioned those particular places. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Because
Brixton,
that's where the scenes are. That's where the scenes are, especially
yeah,
like Camden Jazz Cafe and flipping.
yeah, yeah.
Greenwich has a very big like kind of scene for like music as well. Then you got Brixton, obviously, when Wu-Tang and everyone come down, they wanna like even Run DMC in the 70s.
Mm,
Jay-Z, the first place that he came to was Brixton. A
yeah,
lot of like, Bob Marley when he came to everybody sees Brixton as the Mecca. It's like, it's like the Bronx or going to New
yeah.
York and people from any place they were like, gotta go check out the hood. You gotta go to Brixton.
And yet, and yet, when I go to Brixton, I feel so comfortable. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I'm aware that anything could pop
culturally,
off at any given time, but for some
culturally,
reason,
yeah.
I'm just comfortable. I feel like
Mm.
I'm there.
Like
You
you're in
know?
the Mecca of yeah, you're in the Mecca of culture.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Brixton, Greenwich was that was the very first time. You know what I mean? You mentioned
Okay.
that O2, the Wu Tang was out there. I was there
Yeah,
front row. That was the very first time I went to Greenwich. You know what I mean? Um, Camden, without a doubt. But
yeah.
yeah, I'll be back down. Yeah, for sure. Over the next few months, I'll be back there. When you mentioned Redman earlier, I'll be back for Redman as well. You know what I mean? So there's going to be many opportunities, you know what I mean, that we can connect and continue to build, man, for sure.
Mm.
Um,
Definitely, definitely. I'll probably be like in the next Wu-Tang. I did a Wu-Tang concert before, just because I do like I said, I do the private chef work, and
yeah,
Travis Scott, he's one of the O2, and that was one that I did before as well. So
wow.
I'm going to try and get in to obviously the Redman one and stuff like that. That's the way that I get in to do concerts. I kind of sneak in and do my private chef work and and then it's like like the football stuff. It's like after you do the food for them, you can just sneak and just go into I just go right into the middle and just go into the private parts and just
Word.
mingle with everyone. So it's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I do that, then obviously I'll try and get you a VIP band from one of the exec chefs, and what I mean, get you down there.
For sure. For sure. I'd love to connect those dots, man. For sure, man.
100%, man. But appreciate you putting me on your platform and giving me, the spotlight. Because like I said, I've just been waiting to be able to talk about, what I do. I haven't been able to speak about what I do for, as long as I've been doing it.
Hey, hey.
So I appreciate you asking, like doing your research as well, like from knowing that I'm a chef, knowing that my first album, knowing that I travel a lot, all of these are things that I know that you had to, search and you haven't had a lot of time to look at, to
Yeah,
look for these things. I know that. So I appreciate you. You're a definite documentarian. I heard that word the
thank
other
you,
day,
sir.
documentarian. But yeah, you're definitely, what I mean, you're definitely a man of the works. I mean, you do your digging, you do your work, you do, it's definitely your passion, and I can feel that. And
Yes,
bless you
absolutely.
up.
Absolutely. Let's
Hmm.
close out the only way we know.
Fascinated by your clear stare, eyes so rare. I'm intrigued how you could walk like you're not a goddess that would have been killed for her beauty by Adonis. We could walk the deepest forests, but you would rather climb mountains and paint pictures. Paint violet, sky amethyst. Can I get you a drink? In your mauve dress, smiles and says yes. A fragrance musk, like epipotional oils. Earrings flat like foil, flowing down like waterfalls from her neck to her shoulders. Thinking it's a place I could cascade. As the drinks came, I asked her name. We talk as the jazz plays. She loves lectures and